Just one technical issue here, and then we'll be ready.
I was advancing earlier. I'll try that. Escape out of it.
Well, that's it.
Yep. So let's slow it down.
All right, I think we're getting there. All right, perfect. So to participate today, you have a panel on the right-hand side. If you want to open and close that, you can press the little orange arrow there. This will allow you to see the entire presentation. Next. Oh, perfect. The next is if you want to submit questions. So we had mentioned just prior to this slide, if you have any technical difficulties, you can submit your questions here. But in addition to that, you also have the opportunity to, if you have questions throughout the presentation, because we are going to take the time at the end of today's session to do the question and answers. If we do see anything that is pertinent to the presenter during the middle of the presentation, we will address that with them. And then lastly was the raise your hand feature, which was on the right-hand side. There you see the little arrow pointing to that. Throughout the course of the presentation, we may ask you something as simple as this, and let's give it a try. Let's see how you're doing with that. If you want to, the question, Eugene, what's a simple question we can ask right now, or yes or no question?
Have you ever investigated indoor air quality in your school before?
All right, so just press that little hand feature if you have. And we have no one has at this point, so that's good. We'll get a lot out of this presentation today. All right, and now I am going to pass the presentation over to Eugene and Marjorie, and they will take it away. It's all yours.
Good morning. Do you want to introduce the partners now?
Oh, so yes, why not? Just so you know, the Hampshire Partners for Healthy Schools is a collaborative between many of the following organizations. Just to point out a few here, we do have the Environmental Protection Agency Region 1. Eugene services the tribal region.
Yeah, the New England states and the tribal nations that are within New England.
Excellent. We also have New Hampshire Local Government Center. Primex has been a group that has worked with us as well. The Department of Education, Department of Health and Human Services, as well as Informed Green Solutions and RFP Associates. So we have a number of partners that assist us through this process to help work with schools to assure that they're able to focus on and have the tools for improving indoor air quality. So today's goals and objectives for today, you'll learn the state requirements for public schools on the quality of air in schools. You'll become acquainted with the Tools for Schools program, and you'll be able to take the first step in implementing Tools for Schools at your school.
Okay, thank you, Tim. First thing we're going to go over is the anti-idling law. It is an RSA that was implemented probably about 5 years ago. It just, as you notice here, it just implements about idling, having your buses out front. You know, you should have it signs. If you don't have a sign, you can, at the end of the presentation, you'll see emails for myself. You can email me. We can get you signs. But all schools should have signs and policies. They should be done by your board and signed off, and then every school should have a copy. This is the air quality. This, again, was done. All schools, same thing, has to have this. It's a school board document. You can have a committee put together with a principal, usually who knows the school, a facility manager, to help write this policy. Yep. I skipped a little farther. We're going to do a poll here. I can't read the poll, so you have to tell me. First poll we have.
Perfect. The first poll is, do you have a no idling policy in your school district? So take a moment, press, just click on the button, yes, no, or I don't know. And it's okay, don't worry, your answers, you're not being graded on this. So this is merely for informational purposes. So we'll take a second we're going to close the polls now, and we'll share the results with you, which show that, Marjorie, we have 80% that say yes, they do have a no idling policy, and 20% say they don't know if they do.
And if you're not sure, just give me a call at my office or email me, and I can help you on that program. We also have another poll that Jess will send right now.
All right, so your next question is, are no idling signs posted at your schools? So for those of you that do know that you have an no idling policy, do you have signs posted for your school? And so far, we have about half of you that have answered. You can take a few more seconds, and we'll close out the poll. Share the results, and 100% of you that do have a no idling policy do have no idling signs posted at your schools.
That is so nice to hear. It's always nice when they follow the law. Okay, next is your IAQ checklist, indoor air quality checklist. This was required by law. Principals, designees have to do it every year. My office sends it out. We usually send it out around March. It needs to be back in my office by June 30th of every year. If you don't do one, I will call you to get it in. Now it says school principals need to do this, and we purposely set it up this way because we want the principals to take the ownership of the building, not the facility managers. So if something happens in the building, you know, the principal can right away investigate it and get the answers that need to be done with this. This is why we're having you do it. You can, by law, have someone else do it, but we prefer the principals to do this. Again, annually. It says February, but we're actually doing it later. Sometimes we have the policy out there too long and people forget all about it. So.
Now what happens, Marjorie, if you don't mind me asking, what happens if it's not returned by June 30th?
I will call every school, and then the commissioner sends a letter out to all the superintendents.
Perfect.
So we have little catches in place that if it's not in.
All right, thank you very much.
We have another poll. Jess, pop it up.
All right, so your next poll question is, have you completed your school's indoor air quality, that's what IAQ stands for, checklist that is required by law? So I'll give you a few more.
Hope to see 100% here.
So far it's 100%. We have about 30% of you who have voted. Let's take a few more seconds. We have about half of you who have voted. And we will close the poll out now. And the results, as shared with you, are 80% of you say yes, you have completed your school's indoor air quality checklist that is required by law, and 20% of you say you're unsure.
Which it could happen because not sure who signed up, so it could be a teacher that signed up and they might not know that it's been done or not. So you can check with your principal and if they don't know, check with your facility manager, see if they have it done, or you can call my office and I can look it up real fast for you. Next we have tools for schools, the kits. Again, this is another rule that every school has to have a kit. On the bottom you'll see a picture of the kit itself. I have plenty of those, or they're on little DVD discs. So either one. If you don't have one, please call my office, or you can call Eugene. And he can get some out for you. But he was so nice to send me like 20 cases of these things. So
yes.
I have plenty.
Yeah, I think you have my lion's share
Yeah,
of the
I
kits
do.
that I had in my office.
And the last I looked, pretty much all the schools do have them, and when I go out to the schools, that's one of the things I do ask, because every principal should have one in their office. So I do go there and ask for them.
Well, of course, we want the schools to have a physical copy of the kit, but of course, the kit is also online. So if if you're not able to find it, or if you want to know what it's all about, you can go online, and everything that's in the kit is actually online, and we actually update it. So sometimes, what's online is a little bit different from the kit, but it's pretty much, 99% the same. But we're, constantly tweaking the kit online to make it always more user-friendly.
Again, as I just said, you have to have one on site, a copy of it. They're available in my office, or as Eugene said, from the website or his office. We're just really would like schools to start using this kit. One, it promotes a healthier school, and two, it saves money in the long end. So we're really looking to schools to get involved in this program.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is actually talk about...
Poll, we got a poll.
Oh, we have a poll, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. We have
Right,
just...
Oh, yes.
So if you could take a moment to answer this question, does your school have a Tools for Schools kit? So think back, have you seen that large binder like
A box.
box in your office? You may be smushed between the dictionary and an encyclopedia somewhere.
Probably still in cellophane.
Yeah, it's possible, but if you could take a moment to answer that question and let us know, do you have that kit? And the results show that about 80% of you, 80% have the Tools for Schools kit in one way, shape, or form.
Oh, that's good. The 20%, if you're not sure or you think you don't have it at all, call me, email me, and I'll get the kits out to you, or I go out to school so we can drop them off to you. So either way, just let us know.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Eugene Benoit. I grew up in the rural swamps of Louisiana, but I'm working in Boston for the EPA. And I'm the regional indoor air coordinator. I'm the regional tribal air coordinator. I'm on the regional asthma team. And I also manage a number of grants to various organizations throughout New England. And so we're going to talk about the Tools for Schools program, and just talk a bit about, what is it, how do we implement it, how do we try to be successful with the program, and so on. And, it's been around since 1995, so, we have a pretty good track record. I think we've also, as an agency, have learned a lot about the kit itself. And we're always hoping that it's a simple-to-use kit, low cost, and so forth. So let's take a look at, what I think are the ways to, simply, I guess, or to use it effectively. And, we've had a number of training courses, not only in New England, but in Washington, D.C. And I think that, the Tools for Schools kit to be, effectively utilized kind of boils down to like 6 major categories. And I think it starts off with, to organize or organizing yourself. And we'll get into that a bit more when we start talking about the team. We need to have a team in place in order to implement the kit. And then we go into the communication phase. How do we go beyond the team to the school community? And this involves using the checklists that are in the kit to get feedback from school staff and teachers to kind of figure out, what's going on in the school building. Because the way we look at it is, everyone's kind of like a team player, and we want to be able to get feedback and have a very open process to address whatever kinds of environmental health issues are going on in the school. So once we collect that kind of data through communication, we will do an assessment. We will do a walkthrough investigation of the school. We will do whatever kinds of testing that needs to be done, like a radon test, or if there's a mold issue, how do we go about assessing that? And then we do a plan. What should we do with all of this data? How are we going to take corrective action? And then the next step is really to take action. So we know it needs to be done. Here are the steps that we're going to do. Here's the timetable to do them. And then after that whole process, which usually takes, course of a school year, we do an evaluation. You know, was this really, you know, how effective were we? Maybe next year we want to get maybe a longer questionnaire to the teachers and get more information, or maybe we want to bring in more experts when we do the walkthrough investigation. Those are the kind of things we will talk about for the evaluation. And then the process starts again with organization for the following school year. So this is not like a one-shot deal. You know, we're hoping that this becomes part of sort of the annual sort of quality of care maintenance for your school. Okay. Yeah. Oh well. Let's see. Yeah, there are a couple more things on this slide. I'm kind of running over things, but you know, we're looking at it being a low-cost, you know, intervention, and this is of course voluntary nationally, but here in New Hampshire, well, you know, this is part of the state requirements that schools have the kit, and you know, the way I view the kit is that it's really you know, a source of information. It is kind of the step fashion that schools would take to actually address indoor air quality problems and maintain the, you know, if you have already good air quality, how do you maintain that? You know, nothing just stays good forever. So this is what this kit's about.
Yeah, and as you said, the schools have to have the kits, but they don't have to use the kit. And it's a shame because we have a couple schools that are out there that do use the kits, and they have saved money, and the quality of the education has gone up because the air is better in the building. So it's something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, although legally you have to have the kit, of course, you know, why have it and not do anything with it? Yep. I mean, I think it's a great source of background information, and I think using the kit is certainly a good way to meet, you know, the state requirements in terms of addressing indoor air quality.
So the intention is not a seek and find expensive problems type of
no whatsoever.
Process.
No,
it's more of a process, and my understanding that's more of a process of educating schools on the low-cost strategies they can put in place to create a better learning environment for the students.
It's simple. I mean, if you have, I call it dead air in your room, you find a lot of kids that are falling asleep, look at your vents. Maybe the teacher has paper all over your vents, and it's blocking the fresh air coming in. So it's simple things like that that it's addressing, and it's no cost. It's just awareness.
I mean, just to give you a quick example, I know one school is having a problem with excessive dust. It was just costing a lot of money to remove the dust in the school. Well, they came up with floor mats, you know. They even started outside to really get off the sand from the playground, and then when the students entered the school, then it was kind of like a graduate, what do you call it, kind of a stepwise floor mat. It was aggressive and less aggressive, and they were able to remove like probably 95% of the dust from ever entering the school, because it costs about $1,000 to remove a pound of dust from your school. So, I mean, that's kind of the going figure. So if you can keep dust out of your school, then you can reduce the maintenance costs in the school. And they use floor mats to be able to do that, and they had a really, really good strategic way of putting them in places where they could keep their schools clean.
All the schools should have them like a 15-foot mat outside the door as you're walking in the building. And stamp. It's a little game. Stamp their feet before they go in, and they get the dust and dirt off the shoes. They're not tracking it in.
Right, exactly.
That dust was as expensive as silver.
Yes.
$1,000.
That's,
and if schools have $1,000 to play with.
When you calculate the cost of vacuuming and sweeping and everything, I mean,
redoing the
for every pound of dirt and dust taken out of a school, it costs the school $1,000.
I have learned something today. I'm impressed.
Okay. So anyway, this is what's in the kit. You can see here kind of like a layout of what's inside. You have background information, then you have specific activities like checklists and so on. And of course, in order to be successful with the Tools for Schools kit, we talked a little bit about this, about the teamwork, having a diverse team in place, developing a work plan, kind of a timetable of when you're going to have meetings, when you're going to send out the checklist, when you're going to do the walkthrough investigation. And then also there's tools in the kit on what do you do with the problems that you find? How do you handle them in terms of coming up with like work plans and communication tools to inform, parents and teachers about that. And of course, above all, without administrative support, it's really, really hard to do all this work. But because of the state law, obviously, I think that's really a very strong, foothold in terms of just doing this kind of work, and it's actually expected by the schools according to the state. So here's a little bit more of what's inside the kit. There's a problem-solving wheel which kind of like aligns, symptoms with maybe causes of poor indoor air quality. There's checklist. Probably the one that's used the most often is the teacher's checklist, but there's also, checklists for like the administrative staff, for the custodian and so on. There's IQ Backgrounder, which is a few pages of just background information on indoor air quality. And then you have like the coordinator's forms and the guide. This is kind of how to keep track of all the information you're finding. When are you scheduling meetings? What kind of results are you finding? What kind of things do we want to plan for next year, and so on. And then, of course, there's some video clips. These were not in the original package, 1995, but, people said, why don't we make videos? I mean, people learn a lot from these things. So we produced 3 different videos, and all of them have pretty much their origins here in New England, and in fact in New Hampshire. Taking action, was filmed in Portsmouth. Then we have ventilation basics, and then we have the walkthrough video. So these are really good videos. Of course, they're online if you want to watch them that way.
The kit, if you got the kit, it's a VHS disc, and a lot of people don't have them anymore, but you can go online, and one of the slides you're going to see links to it that you can go on there and look at them.
Exactly. Especially on YouTube, all of those videos are there. You can easily find them and have links for them and so on. So again, this is the specific checklist here, and they're pretty self-explanatory. And although I consider them a little bit long, one thing that schools in New Hampshire might want to do is like take a look at the checklist. This would be the team looking at it, and maybe picking out 10 or 12 very salient questions that you want to know about, and then put that in the email form. Send that around with some kind of way of getting the results back so that you can easily evaluate those checklist results. So,
because I know when I went through it, one of them is 5 pages long, and another one's not even half a page long. So it's modify it to make it work for your school.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow it exactly. We're just giving you guidelines.
Exactly. I would say get out of the kit, sort of what you need. There's much more there than probably you'll ever use, but it's all useful stuff. But I would say, incorporate the kit and modify it to meet your own school needs.
So it would be important to understand that the kit shouldn't be just one person's responsibility. It's the responsibility of the entire school environment to work together to create that healthy air that we all need and deserve.
Right, exactly. And the team consists of key players. We want to have a principal involved. We want to have the school nurse. We want to have a representative teacher. Someone from custodial staff. I mean, you could have an interested parent. I mean,
a student who's in the school.
Exactly.
It could be. And the team has discussed this before. Some schools, the seniors have to do a senior project. This would be one heck of a senior project to make a healthy school.
Exactly.
We got another poll up we're going to do.
All right, so poll question number 5. What is your role in your school district? Are you the administrator? Are you the facilities manager or custodian? Are you the principal? Are you the nurse? Or are you the teacher? And right now, we have about 20% of you who have voted. If you could take the time to vote, just click on the answer that best represents your position at your school district. We have about 30% of you voted. Let's give you another few seconds.
And if you're a staff person, just go under district.
Yeah.
We're hoping that you have good indoor air quality at your office and you haven't passed out. So let's
Fall asleep.
close the polls and share the answers. And what we have is about 67%, so 2/3 are facilities managers and or custodial staff.
Like hearing that you're on this.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. Again, you do know the building inside and out.
Yeah. So I think, I think diversity is very important for your team. You really want to have representation of not only just the school professions that are there, but also the community. I mean, I think even bringing someone in from the local health office would be good. And certainly, if there's ever a question of, how do we better organize ourselves, you can always give us a call. Our number's at the end, and we can give you some advice about that.
We have a poll question coming up, and this should be, I think, our last one.
This is our last poll. So, for those of you out there that are listening to this program, have you formed an indoor air quality team? So take a moment to answer that question. And again, the team players can be everything from principal, nurse, teachers, people outside of the school community, inside the community. Give you one more second to answer. And I think we'll find this very interesting. Let's take a look. And what we see is 100% say no indoor air quality team.
Well, I can understand that, I guess. I guess this is where they're going to learn to do a team and get involved in it. So there'll be another, after this webinar, there's another webinar part 2, and we'll ask then, did you form a team?
So in terms of the implementation steps, I mean, the first thing you're going to do is, obviously form a team and take a look at the Tools for Schools program, take a look at what's involved in terms of the checklist and so on. And I would say map out what you're going to be doing in the course of the year. Probably in the course of the year you want to have several meetings. You could meet monthly or you could meet bi-monthly. I think it's just important that, the first meeting is to talk about what plans you have for the year and then figure out when you're going to send the checklist and so on. And the second step of that is, well, this is still part of the initial meeting, skim and review the material, take a look at the videos. There are the YouTube links.
Basically, we want them just to open up the box, look at it, review it, and get a handle on it.
Right. We want them to actually become experts. I think, it sounds like, wow, how can I become an indoor air quality expert? Well, if you read through the kit, if you watch the videos, I think, after an hour of familiarizing yourself with this material, you'll understand, what are the typical pollutants we find in the school? What are the typical symptoms that are associated with exposure to these pollutants? How do we control those pollutants? And so on. And, everyone says, oh, gosh, what kind of pollutant do I need to worry about in a school? Well, there's radon, there's mold, there's, there could be asbestos, there could be lead in the drinking water,
But
there
you
could be
even take it
excess
smaller
dust.
than that.
Yes,
I think.
or asthma triggers in the classroom.
Asthma triggers, too much paper
Yeah.
in the classroom. A teacher of 35 years has just retired and all her stuff is still there. A new teacher doesn't know what to do. That could be a project for you to go in there and clean out the room.
Exactly. Those are definitely, contributing factors to creating,
Yeah, just don't let it overwhelm you.
Right. But, I think from all my years of experience, the number one issue I think schools need to control is excess moisture. It's not a pollutant, but, uncontrolled water in a building is highly destructive. It causes mold problems. It causes, problems with rust and wearing out pipes and causing plumbing problems and so on. I mean, leaky roofs, create stained ceiling tiles. You have a mold problem there. Excess water in the building allows pests to thrive, for example. So generally, that's something that's always, all school people have to be very vigilant about water in their building. I think that's a very, very important thing to always keep in your mind on.
Okay, so the steps are very easy. 1, open the box, review it. 2, form a team, get a coordinator. And the easy way to get a coordinator, you go around the school and find the biggest cheerleader there is and ask that person. They're usually the one that will go the extra mile. And then form a team. And again, as Eugene said, you can meet once a week, once a month, however you want to set it up.
I think it depends really on sort of what's going on.
What you want to do.
If you're maintaining good indoor air quality, you really don't have to meet that much. But if you're dealing with issues, if you're dealing with, high asthma levels or whatever, high incidence of asthma prevalence in your school, if you're dealing with active mold problems, And I'll tell you, just 2 days ago, I got a call from a school, and the gentleman said he was dealing with a massive mold problem in his school. So I asked him what the name of the school. He didn't quite give it to me. He just wanted some advice. So I know that there's problems out there.
Yes, we're dealing with one ourselves.
I even invited him to be on this webinar if he ever has a chance to say, you know, we'd like to hear your story and how you really resolved this problem. I think that would be really valuable, because we really do want to have school folks participating in future webinars to really, we'd like to hear your stories. You know, what issue did you confront? How did you do it? You know, how did you get success? What tools did you use? You know, and so on. So that would be very useful for us as well.
Okay. One of the next steps we do is there's a checklist, as we discussed earlier. There's one for teachers, one custodial, one nurse, and all. Distribute that to your team. See if they, you know, modify it how you want to. Distribute it, fill it out, bring it back to the next webinar, so you can have, as we say, homework.
Yeah.
So this is what we need between here now and the next webinar. That's October 2nd. We will be sending out flyers for it. I think it's 3 to 4 o'clock. It's a later time. Hopefully we can get more people that way, where it's after school, not during school. But the 3 steps we need from now to the fall is identify your coordinator, form the team, and distribute the backgrounder, the information and everything. And if you have that, you'll be all prepared for this next step, and you're really way ahead of everybody else in the game.
Now, if Eugene and Marjorie, if someone is confused about these steps, are they welcome to contact either of you?
They can call me anytime.
My number is listed at the end. That's my direct number, so they can certainly give me a call. You know, I mean, if they have questions about, you know, implementation, I mean, that's obviously something they can call me about. If they're having some specific issues, you know, obviously they should call one of us for advice of how to go about, you know, resolving it. So I think it's not just about this, but about just any kind of, you know, environmental health issue that, you know, they're dealing with in the school.
Again, here's when our next one is, October 2nd, on Tuesday. Hope to see everybody that signed up today on that one. I have the list. I will also email you and contact you to remind you of it.
Yeah, and just a reminder to note that new time from 3 to 4 p.m.
And if you have any suggestions of another time, if these don't work, let us know.
And also a reminder that you'll receive a survey later this afternoon for participating in this program. We'd like to hear the good, the bad, and the not so good. And so please let us know. Be honest with us. This is, like we said, this is our maiden voyage. So we're trying to learn here at our new location. So if you could give us some feedback, we would greatly appreciate that. And if we did a good job, you know, give us a pat on the back. We don't mind that either. And here's contact information. You have Marjorie and Eugene's information, as well as if you'd like to take a moment and go on the New Hampshire Partners for Healthy Schools website. That is www.nhhealthysschoolenvironments.org. So check that out, and you can learn all sorts of useful tips there, as well as get learn how the partners can assist you. And you can find our archived webinars. Thank you very much. So if you have missed any of the previous webinars, you can go on there and find all of the archived webinars.
And we will also have the dates of the new webinars coming up and what they are, and a tentative date and time for them.
All right.
I hope to see everybody at the next one.
And I believe this is the point where we open it up to questions and answers. Are we done with the rest of the presentation? Just want to make sure before I dive in. So that's it for the presentation. We'll go back that slide so you don't have to stare at the blank slide. But this is your opportunity to ask some questions. So please go right ahead and we'll add those questions into the question box that is on the right-hand side of the panel. And we will pose those questions to the presenters and give the answer to the group. So rather than have a private answer, you'll get it, everyone will have the answer directly. If you do have a private question, maybe you have a concern about something that is a little more, that you need a little more discretion on, please feel free to submit it, and we can write it down and provide it to the presenter, and they can get back to you via email. All right, I am not seeing any questions. So
Good, that tells me they know.
at this point, we are going to say thank you yet again, and we will end this webinar, and we will see you on October 2nd from 3 to 4 p.m. Same location, right at your desk. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.